And we're live in the 313 and the 404 for episode 148. This is the Everybody Mad. We're recording it live on a podcast day, Wednesday, November the 13th. It's also, well, not today, but a couple days ago, Happy Veterans Day to all of our vets who served. As well as the month of November is National Diabetes Month. I'm type 2, recognizing National Diabetes Month and everything that comes with that. But make sure you're well maintained like me too. I think this month is also National Alzheimer's Awareness Month. So, and also, if you notice by the extra stuff on the side is the Movember, No Shave November, in honor of men's health, prostate cancer, testicular cancer, mental health, and all that stuff. So I say all that to say, thanks for joining us on the show. My name is Sad Lever. Welcome.
What's going on? I'm Kenya Kabine. I didn't know we were still doing that, the No Shave November thing.
I was gonna grow out my hair anyway, so it's just something to do. But as always, I think it's anything we need to do to uplift men's health because we don't do what we're supposed to do.
That's a real good point. That's a real good point. We really appreciate you all checking us out. This is the Everybody Mad live podcast. We're available on all podcast platforms. So wherever you stream your favorite podcast, you can check us out. We're also on YouTube Live right now and Facebook Live. And we want to make sure that you all follow us too. So make sure that you get with us.
Instagram is now working.
Oh, Instagram is working. So we're live on IG right now too. So make sure that you check us out. We got a great show lined up for you all. But first, before we get into all the stuff that's going on in our world, especially all these crazy politics, because that's really pretty much what the show is about tonight. Don't really have any entertainment news, and we normally kind of touch upon entertainment, but I think with the way that the election played out and went down, I think that it's safe to say that we'll probably be focusing. It's just better to just focus on politics tonight. So we got that lined up for you all, but all is going well down here in Atlanta. I mean, it's been real weird. I was definitely in a funk last week after the outcome of the election, to the point where I had to get off Instagram said for like 4 or 5 days just to get my mind right. Because just some certain comments, seeing celebrities, like just ignorant celebrities doing dumb shit like co-signing Trump and stuff of that nature. I didn't want to see any of that, and I was very disappointed with the way that the election played out. And it's just more so than anything, I'm just disappointed in us as Americans for making the choice, because this is what we've decided as Americans. I didn't decide it, but that's what America has decided, to go ahead and put Trump back in as president for the next 4 years. So like we always do as Black people, we endure. We will endure the next 4 years. Yeah, we're going to make it through like we always do. And after a while, I just realized that this is just something that is God's plan, and it's meant to be. And if he won, that's how it is. I'm fine now. I'm cool. I realize what it is now, but I'm still disappointed.
I think so too. But I think what disappoints me is me knowing who I am, and I'm always cynical about stuff, and just a realist about stuff. And I think I allowed myself to get into the optimism of, we might do it again, but maybe Obama isn't lightning in a bottle or whatever. Maybe we'll have someone else with it. But I think more than anything, a lot of this just kind of highlighted why America is a little bit different from Black people, and white folks have a little bit different rule here, whatever, which I think we all knew. And I think I kind of thought that we might be able to kind of get past it a little bit, especially since the converse was on Trump, who is is National Alzheimer's Disease Awareness Month. I would like to nominate him for some sort of, because he ain't all there. Like you can see him struggle to complete sentences and all those things like that or whatever. So it was like that, and then just do the racism and all the other sort of things that come along with them. I was just assumed that like people who knew what we went through with crime going up against, because like people forget that Black Lives Matter happened under Trump, because police felt even more emboldened there. So actually police violence against Black men went up while Trump was president. A lot of people kind of forget that. I don't know why. We forget that COVID happened under him. We could have done better, like Canada did, but based on our population compared to Canada's population per capita, we had 60% higher COVID deaths than Canada did. Canada was smart about how they did it and didn't hide public information. But just what we. But so I thought we'd gotten past that, but then America just slapped me in the face Tuesday and said, oh yeah, this is white man's world. And I think white heavy on the white, heavy on the man. And we'll talk about that during the show or whatever. So I don't want to belabor all that or whatever. But it was a quick little slap in the face. But we black people, we gonna endure whatever. The people before us, our ancestors who inhabited this earth before us, went through more tough times, and look like they're trying to take us closer back to that time now than we are. But we're fighters. We'll persevere, and we're gonna do what we have to do, and that sort of thing. But we got people on the show. You can leave your comments. We can put them live on the air. You can leave them right in the chat if you want to comment your chat, or if you want to jump on and share some of your opinions throughout the show. But we're going to talk about our thoughts throughout the election and the outcomes. Also, we're going to show you some celebrity kind of kickback, because I think today was probably the first day I kind of got into any of it, just to do prep for the show that you sent me. So I hadn't been watching it too, like you. No news, no CNN, MSNBC, no nothing. Just kind of staying away from it. So we'll talk about that and what some celebrities had to say. A little bit about Trump's plan, because some of that is starting to materialize as well. So we'll get into that as well as what that entails relating to LGBTQ rights, things around religion and in schools. Immigration, I think we'll talk a little bit about that. And we gotta talk about our girl Kamala, because I was still proud of her. She lost the election, but I was still proud of what she did, because she has the deck stacked against her already. So talk about her, and talk a little bit about Trump's administration, his cabinet picks he's trying to bring in as well.
Yeah, so you all make sure that you comment under the link that you see on the screen right there, the link tree, Everybody Mad live podcast. Make sure that you go ahead and jump in with the conversation, because we would definitely love to hear from you all. With that being said, we'll go ahead and kick everything off. Of course, the election is shaking everything up in the nation. But the question is, really, what does this mean for us as African Americans? Because right now we have to look at the bigger picture. How will this affect our communities, our schools, businesses, future? Because the fight for civil rights is far from over. The election results only really intensify the work ahead. So it's a situation we really can't sit back and just watch things happen. We have to stay engaged. We need to be aware of exactly what's happened. So with the way everything played out, how do you feel the impact of this election is going to have on the future of Black America? Because like you said, and I know we're going to get into it, Trump is already setting up his allies as his cabinet members. So how do you think this is going to affect us?
Minorities, we're always going to get the kind of short end of the stick, just number one or whatever. But I think some of the stuff that that he promised to do, he's going to try and do it, because he actually has. Looks like he's going to have both houses of Congress, the Senate and the House of Representatives. So it looks like he'll have both of those. So in theory, he has it lined up to do some of the things he wants to do. But we also know they're a little bit incompetent in the people that he brings in, and they don't know anything about government. So there might be some difficulties in just kind of pushing through everything that he wants to do. But we know he wants to do things around giving police immunity. So those are some of the things that we look for our community. We know he also wants to eliminate the Department of Education. That may affect some of the funding related to some of our public schools in relation to kind of what their curriculum is in some of the states. And I think this is kind of like a blueprint. You can look at what's happening in some of the states where some of those states, even though they're publicly funded and they're supposed to get their funding from that state like Mississippi, I think Oklahoma, Florida, some of those states like that, they mandate certain things have to be taught, or things have to be taught in a certain way in order for those schools or those districts to continue to get their funding. So it's like almost kind of like ensuring that, hey, we know you need this $1 million to operate your school, but we got to make sure that this is the book that you teach from, or this is the curriculum, and this is the way you explain it, and things like that. So it could be some things like that kind of happen with the Department of Education. I don't know how quickly they can dismantle it, because that's what they're talking about. But maybe they keep it in place to kind of make sure things like that happen. The Department of Education also controls loans, so student loans and that sort of thing. So probably won't be able to move forward with some of those plans to cancel student loans and things like that. So that's kind of a loss on our end, but we probably have some more difficulties too with expanding programs like Pell Grants, Stafford loans. Those programs are under the Department of Education and things like that. So if they're taking money away from that, it may be a little bit harder for some kids to be able to get funding for schools if they want to go to college and things like that. They may have to go the route of just getting loans and that sort of thing. So we know where that places a lot of people who already don't have the funds and things like that. So those are some of the things that I think we can probably look for. And then you can look to some of the people who we wanted to bring in, Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy, two billionaires who billionaires are never really the most benevolent people. Like they got the money or whatever. And like, if you truly about the work, like you have enough to make sure you live comfortably or whatever. But like, what's the point of sitting on all those billions when you could, in theory, solve a lot of problems with your money? But they continue to hoard it or whatever. So I don't expect them to do anything that's going to be philanthropic and like something like, oh yeah, we're going to end homelessness or make sure veterans have all their mental health and all that stuff like that. Like, I don't think anything like that's going to happen. They're going to twist government so that it works in a way that's beneficial for businesses and other people who make money and things like that or whatever. So like for at least the next several years, we'll kind of go through that or whatever. So I think that's how we'll feel a lot of it. It's just kind of through everyday stuff. If he does tariffs, like you said, stuff will go up a little bit more too. So you might not have the money that you have now because groceries would be a little bit more expensive.
Right, but I think a lot of people's mindset right now, they're just going to sit back and watch the shit show. That's pretty much that's
what you're gonna do.
Consensus, I just think, and I think it's really unfortunate, but I don't know what can we do as African Americans to just ensure, okay, look, we don't want certain things to happen when he's in power and he's setting up people in power positions to make these decisions that we really don't have a say so. And I'm a very optimistic person, but it's just kind of like, I'm just gonna sit back and watch and just laugh. Like, this is who you all voted for, because the people that voted for him are really in for a big surprise.
They are. And
they're so delusional. They're so delusional.
Yeah, because he's a transactional human being, and everyone who gave me reason for voting for him like can't explain what he's going to do to help I voted for him because groceries are too high or whatever.
Right.
Well, what is he going to do to make it a little bit better or whatever? Like he didn't do any plans, so it was like people voted on the motion. But like, I think the biggest thing that people are just avoiding the fact is like that, like, this is a black woman. That's why she lost the race, because she was black. And I got the votes up here, 75 million. Trump didn't get more votes than he got last time. I actually got a little bit less. So he got the same amount of support, but Kamala got about 15 million less than Joe did.
Right, but then this narrative about Trump won by a landslide, it wasn't a landslide. It was about like 3 million votes, like 4 million votes if you look at the numbers. Yeah. But if you look at it now, Sid, you could probably explain this because, and I should have done my research on this too, but I saw these, what are these nonpartisan people that were running?
Where?
Why were they able to run? Because they took all the votes. They took all the votes from Kamala. It's like at least 3 million votes that could have gone to Kamala.
Yep. That's a good point. I think you said that. But even in Michigan, like states that Joe Biden won, and like the margin was real slim. Like this looks like he won Wisconsin by about 30,000 votes, which you can get 30,000 votes in Milwaukee alone. Looks like he's going to win Michigan by about maybe 80,000 votes. In Michigan, there was about somewhere in Dearborn, which is a heavy Muslim population. And this is what I want to talk about. They were talking about how they voted against Trump. No, I'm sorry. They voted for Trump. This is a mostly Muslim city where the mayor is Muslim. Most of the town is Muslim. It's the largest Muslim population in America. and they voted for Trump because Trump came to them a couple times and promised that he would end the war in Gaza because they have family that are Palestinians and all this stuff like that. But I'm like, y'all do realize he tells lies. So y'all gave him y'all vote because he told y'all he would do that, and I'm like, this was frustrating. It's like, y'all should know historically about Netanyahu in Israel and the people who's actually bombing the people over in Palestine. He is a Republican. If you align him with parties over here in America, he will be a Republican. So he and Trump are on the same side. So you voted for Trump thinking that y'all was going to teach Kamala a lesson because she didn't come to you, or she didn't say that she's going to end it. Well, she can't end. Like, that's crazy to me. We expect someone, we expect another country who's at war to stop their war because we said so. I'm like, yeah, they've advocated for them to stop the war or whatever, but at the end of the day, that's Israel sending the bombs and doing the work or whatever. Yeah, we're their ally and their friend, but you can't, like, that's like me telling you because I gave you a couple dollars here or whatever, that like you can't do this or that because I gave you some money, or I give you a little money every year or whatever. Like, you can't control somebody's actions and what they decide to do. But they decided to vote against Kamala on that. It's 100,000 people. Look, I say that all to say this: Kamala won. I'm sorry, she lost the state of Michigan by about 80,000 votes. Those Muslims in Dearborn, this heavily Muslim city, which has here it is, 110,000 residents. They typically would vote Democratic, but they wanted to teach the Democrats a lesson this cycle. So they either voted for Trump or they voted for that third party, like you said. And lo and behold, Kamala loses the state of Michigan on her way to losing the whole election. So it's little stuff like that like is just kind of crazy. Like, you spite your nose, or what you cut off your nose to spite your face. What's that saying? Because y'all know the opposite is not going to help you get to where you're trying to go. If your ultimate goal is to help your people over there in Palestinian and help them get out of their whatever they want, go with. I know it's not the best case scenario right now because they want the war to end, but Trump wants the war to keep going until they kill them and wipe them off the map, so that Israel doesn't have to deal with the Gaza. But that's a whole conversation. We don't want to get into that, all that, still the whole show. But like, it's like you said, elections have consequences, and what we decide to do and play around with our presidency, those will have ripple effects, not just today, but into the next 4, 6, 7, 8 years plus.
Yeah. And it's interesting because a lot of celebrities right now, they're voicing their opinion on their thoughts on the outcome of the election. Everyone from Van Jones to Whoopi Goldberg, they're talking about how they felt about the election. And here's what Whoopi had to say.
That's the wrong video. Hold on. I'm gonna play the celebrity one. Hold on. Yeah, because that one came up.
Persist. And that means he needs 23 more.
This was a movement like nobody's ever seen before.
Trump, baby, all day we won.
Hollywood stars sharing their reactions after election night 2024.
And I'm proud to be an American.
Donald Trump returning to the White House after his decisive victory over Vice President Kamala Harris.
Frankly, this was, I believe, the greatest political movement of all time.
Among the disappointed crowd, Christina Applegate getting right to the point on X, writing, "Please unfollow me if you voted against female rights and disability rights. What you did is unreal." And on Instagram, Oscar winner and mother to a trans daughter, Jamie Lee Curtis.
We're all real people, and we live in a world that is at war.
She says Trump's win means a sure return to a more restrictive, some fear draconian time.
Why they use that picture?
People will be more afraid. Adding, for all those people, there will be those who will help you, me included.
We're going to help our country heal. We have a country that needs help, and it needs help very badly.
In reference to Trump's sexual assault allegations, Aubrey O'Day figuring, quote, the only thing that America hates more than a sexist, racist rapist is a woman. Then Lily Reinhart saying of Trump's alleged victims, my heart absolutely breaks for these women. I believe you, and I am so sorry.
These are our friends. We have thousands of friends in this incredible movement.
Meanwhile, Trump supporters Amber Rose and Savannah Chrisley posting the victory vibes from their overnight watch parties.
Don't. It can't happen. That's all I have to say. It could happen. Our future in 4 years is a hell of a lot better than where we've been. Trump, baby, all day we won. That's it. It's over with.
Hey, look, we love our country. Yes, we do. Look what happened. Is this crazy?
When it comes to next steps, Jonathan Van Ness, Andy Cohen, plus Real Housewives alum Bethany Frankel offering their 2 cents amid mixed emotions in Hollywood.
We will persist. We will move forward.
Got to dance with the one who brung you. The decision has been made. The die has been cast, and people have to move forward, unite, and the divisiveness has not worked. Everyone has to agree on that.
We're going to keep showing up. We're going to keep working together. We're going to be okay.
And I think collectively, Black people are like, okay, well, we're going to be watching y'all.
Yeah, pretty much.
But I think one of the funny things she said, the divisiveness has not worked. I think it might get worse, especially now, particularly with our community, Black people, because I think a lot of people have a sentiment of being, it's like people play in your face, because like we thought we would have enough support based on who our candidate was running against, and that sort of thing. But turns out, or whatever, if we had just had enough support from all minority groups, that could have been a little bit enough to push us over. Like it's again just lack of participation in voting, and then to the other part is the misinformation of the people who do vote or whatever. Because why 45% of Latinos still voted for Trump when he said sort of like that's almost half.
Yeah, and a lot of people and a lot of people that aren't white or born in America, they're getting ready to be shipped back to where they came from.
They had this Latino lady, she was on something or whatever, and they was asking why you vote for Trump or whatever, and they gave a reason or whatever, and then the reporter was like, he's planning this massive deportation program, and then she was like, oh no, that's just for the criminals and the illegals. And he had to remind her that no, he didn't say just a deportation program. He said if you look at Project 2025 and those sort of documents, you can see that it's more than just a deportation. It's denaturalization, which means that even if you are legal now, you might not be if they don't want you to be. That means that your preferred status could be revoked, and they can send you back to where you came from, sort of thing. You and your whole family. This is the people who lock kids up in cages or whatever. So I don't know why y'all thought that he would have any sort of compassion for people who look like you. So that's why I'm surprised that 45% of y'all vote. I'm surprised that even 20%. And I know they said the Black man was going to vote for Trump, and they did shift a little bit, but it wasn't significant enough because 86% of people Black people still voted for Kamala, which I was happy about that. We just didn't have the numbers we should have had.
Right. Even though I think that they're trying to put it out there, because even the AP put out a story the other day about why Black men, and see again, like people you have to research.
I'm playing blame on somebody else too,
because they're playing it like Black men did not vote for Kamala, and that's not the case.
That's not true. Nearly 90%, 86% of Black people voted for Kamala.
But it is annoying when
Jewish people too.
Yeah, but it is annoying when I hear brothers say that they didn't support her, that they did not vote for her, and then they can't even articulate why they did not vote for Kamala and they chose Donald Trump over her. That's very disheartening. You know,
It is too, and then too it's disheartening when they go off of bad information because then they
yes.
give a reason. It's like, oh, she locked up all these black men, and I was like, well,
Yeah.
how many did she lock up? And no one can answer it. So me being me, I did some research and I found that it was like 1,900 men that she that were had some sort of drug crime while she was in her position as Attorney General. And out of those nearly 2,000 with 1,900 some people, only about 49 of those actually
Right.
went to state prison. So largely, like 90 something percent of those people never touched any sort of state pen. Like they spent the time in jail and moved on. So the narrative about her trying to put black men in jail when she's proven to have that and other programs for recidivism to keep people out of jail once they leave is that like y'all don't really know her. And I'm like, this disheartening because it's a sister. And then they're like, oh yeah, she ain't married a black man. I know she did, and but I know for a fact that she dated black men most of her life. I know her college boyfriend was a black man. What's Kappa? So like this narrative about she hates black men, it's just like it's a lot. So it's like I can get you being a Republican and doing what you do and supporting how you support, but everything you said is either not even factually based, or it's a lie, or it's based on your emotions. And I'm like, that's
Yeah.
really what we're gonna allow. We gonna let the racists be happy. That be my thing. Is that like if you know the racist is for one side, why are you also on that side? That
Yeah.
would have me doing some self reflection. Like why? If I was in the 1960s or whatever, like and I'm thinking about me getting the right to vote because I didn't have the vote or whatever, and now I'm thinking about who should I vote for? Like I don't like either one of them because they both white or whatever. But at the end of the day, the racists really want this one to win, and they don't win. Well, I'm gonna be on that side because I don't want to be on the side with the racists. And I'm like, I don't know why there's so many black people who find comfort in, oh, I'm gonna vote for Trump and be loud and proud with it. But I'm like, okay, I'm gonna just sit back and watch y'all.
And watch how stupid they look. And I say in less than a year, when all this stuff goes down, especially with education and religion, we're going to be talking more about that. But outside of the celebrities that we just got through checking out, there were other celebs that had an opinion on exactly how they felt after the election results came out last week. Whoopi Goldberg is one of those people. Do we have the video set lined up?
No, it looks like they changed that privacy of that, so that video won't play at all.
Okay, so then we have the talk show host that talk about it.
Van Jones.
Thinking about the people who are not a part of anybody's elite, who are hurting tonight.
Van Jones shared an emotional message on CNN late Tuesday night when Donald Trump was on the verge of defeating Kamala Harris and regaining the presidency. The cable news commentator described Trump returning to power as a nightmare and showed particular empathy for black women who supported Harris, along with trans youth and immigrants.
There are African-American women who know a little bit about being talked down to and know a little bit about having their economic dreams crushed, who tried to dream a big dream over the past couple of months. And tonight they're trading in a lot of hope for a lot of hurt.
He continued, and they were hoping that maybe this time one of their own could be seen as worthy. And once again, they're facing rejection, and that hurts. Jones went on to say that black women who supported Harris are not the only ones hurting.
If you're a parent of a trans kid, your child's face was used as a springboard to power for somebody. That doesn't feel good.
Jones also spoke about immigrants, saying in part, there are going to be people who are going to be cleaning your teeth tomorrow who don't have papers, and they are terrified tonight.
And so it's easy to blow this off. Oh, look at the elite. They're going to get their comeuppance. It's not the elite that's going to pay the price. It's people who woke up this morning with a dream and are going to bed with a nightmare.
He concluded by saying, and those people deserve to be respected and held and talked to. Those are the people who are going to pay the price of whatever Donald Trump decides to do.
Yeah, absolutely right. Absolutely right. So it's going to be, again, interesting the next 4 years, how things play out. But of course, we're going to be following everything and let you know. Now, I don't know if you have the video queued up with the other talk with Jimmy Kimmel crying. Do you have that one? If not, we could just move on because I know we got more stuff, but Yeah, but you all definitely let us know your thoughts on everything.
Someone tell Michigan drivers about.
If you want to comment on some of the stories that we're talking about, feel free to jump in.
Women,
the link
for children, for the hundreds of thousands of hardworking immigrants who make this country go, for healthcare, for our climate.
Well, I don't think Donald Trump's a good person. I'm only basing that on everything I've ever been taught about what makes someone good or bad.
Late night hosts wasting no time addressing Donald Trump's second win for the White House.
No matter who you voted for, I think all Americans can agree it's going to be a rough Thanksgiving.
I was walking around proudly wearing my I voted sticker. Today, I wore my I am questioning my fundamental belief in the goodness of humanity sticker.
We're a comedy show. We see what people say and what they do, and the jokes come between those two angles.
In between jokes on Jimmy Kimmel Live, the comedian and frequent Trump target tearing up over Tuesday's election outcome.
It was a terrible night for poor people, for the middle class, for seniors who rely on Social Security, for our allies in Ukraine, for NATO, for the truth.
Donald Trump has won the 2024 election, and he'll be president again for 4 more years, or 8, or 12, or whatever.
Seth Meyers taking a closer look at his future, writing more Trump-fueled monologues.
And look, it might be challenging, but to that challenge, I say, let's go. And I promise, yeah, let's go.
Look, if a former leader of the free world is going to show up to my city for a court appearance, we're going to mention it.
People often say to me, come on, part of you's got to want Trump to win. No one tells the guy who cleans the bathroom, wow, you must love it when someone has explosive diarrhea. There's so much material for you to work with. But we can take comfort in knowing that we've been here before. We know what's coming.
Both Stephen Colbert and Jimmy Fallon making fodder over one historic moment. The 47th president is also the first head of state elected in the wake of felony convictions.
After a bizarre and vicious campaign fueled by a desperate need not to go to jail, Donald Trump has won the 2024 election.
Yep, Trump could be the first president to be under White House arrest.
Over in the clubhouse, Andy Cohen telling fans it's okay to not be okay.
Half the country woke up feeling depressed, angry, and scared. The other half was very excited. That is democracy, and that is okay. Feel those feelings today. But please, for the love of God, don't give up. You matter, and so do all the issues that made you vote in the first place.
So that's what some of your favorite celebs had to say. Of course, we're going to keep you updated on everything that's going down in our world. And we're going to keep talking about it because our voices definitely need to be heard because everybody is definitely mad. All right. Mad. Yeah, keep keeping it moving. Trump's plan. I know like Trump's plan is crazy, but we're going to break it down. His cabinet picks, his agenda. What does this all mean for us, for our community? Some of the key appointments like Pete Hegseth for Secretary of Defense, Kristi Nolan, who's going to be running Homeland Security, Rep. Mike Waltz as National Security Advisor. These are questionable people that have done questionable things, but Trump has appointed them. It's really no surprise. I mean, like, again, this is why I said I'm like, people are going to sit back and we're going to watch him really tear our country apart. So this is what's going on. Who is this brother right here? We can talk.
That's Lloyd Austin. He's the current defense secretary of defense. He's been replaced by this guy on the right, who is a Fox News host right now. So a 4-star general being replaced by a Fox News. Now the guy was in the military. I will give him that. But you're not a 4-star general. But it goes back to what what our parents always told us growing up or whatever. Like, you gotta be twice as good, be given half as much. So we always knew as black people, like, it was always gonna require us to do more or whatever. And we saw it during the presidential election. We see it here in some of the cabinet nominees. And it's funny too how you named all the white men that you named when you talked about all white people.
Yeah, I forgot to mention Elon Musk and what is it, Vivek Ramsey? Yeah.
Also, just announced Matt Gaetz. That was the congressman from Florida that was rumored with messing around with that 17-year-old girl.
Yeah.
Attorney General.
Yeah. And again, and we've talked about this before on the show, but I mean, like, Trump's not being held accountable for any of the stuff that he's done, the sexual assault, the insurrection. See, all of this now is like,
I'm sure they try and get rid of all the things that are currently going on. So
well, he's not going to stand trial. It's everything is out the window because now he is going to be our president for the next 4 years. So all of that is out the window. But what's interesting, I want to get back to this guy, the personality, Pete Hegseth, just his policies, his rhetoric on the army. Like, I think we have video. Let's just check this out. It's unbelievable. But I'm not, again, not surprised.
Thoughts on women being in the military.
I'm straight up just saying we should not have women in combat roles. It hasn't made us more effective, hasn't made us more lethal, has made fighting more complicated. We've all served with women and they're great. It just, our institutions don't have to incentivize that in places where not traditionally, over human history, men in those positions are more capable. I'm straight up just saying we should not have women in combat.
Not surprised.
F around and find out.
Yeah, exactly. There was some other stuff that he said too. I forgot. It just kind of slipped my mind. But you all can Google him and just really be aware of who Trump is appointing as his cabinet members. Again, for people that voted for Kamala, we all knew that this was coming, but it's coming fast. And I think it's just like, damn, like it hasn't even been a week yet. And now you're appointing these people that aren't even qualified to do these jobs, but you're putting them in these powerful positions. It's like, wow, it's unbelievable. It's really unbelievable. But again, it really shouldn't be surprised. How do you think, though, like with everything that's happening, like how do you think this is gonna affect our civil rights? Because Trump already said that he was gonna make sure that he pardons all these police officers for killing Black people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, people feel more emboldened in where they are or whatever. Like we're just 2024. Remember we had to remind people. What was the saying? People say, "I'm not my ancestors" or whatever, because people thought that because they supported Trump that gave them certain license to do or say certain things and that were not acceptable to do before that. And I'm like, we're not going back in time. And I know that was Kamala's slogan too. We're not going back. Yeah, Trump might have won or whatever, but like I'm not going back to that day of that reality. But I think that's kind of where they want to kind of take us back to where it was before civil rights, before women's rights, before LGBTQ rights, whatever. So I think they want to do that. We see some of the stuff now that they're doing. Even when they took abortion away, they said that they may want to look at some other things like gay marriage, whether or not that should be the law and stuff like that. So I think it's just for us to expect certain things because they want to have a control over society. They don't want government to do a whole lot of social programs, but they want government to have stipulations for how you live your life, not about how to help you with your life, but how you choose to live it. They do want to have government doing things like that, which is kind of always funny to me.
Yeah, I just think it's a situation where it's going to be where right now what he's doing is everything is going to be for white people, white men in particular. But yeah, rich white people, that's it, and men, that's about it. But women's rights are pretty much out the door now.
No extra rights, definitely not no extra rights. And they're probably gonna we may get attempts at a national abortion ban in other ways, like taking away some of those access to some of those abortion pills and things like that or whatever. So that might be coming.
But even LGBTQ rights are out the window. Like there's so much stuff. And you have to, when people, again, like you said earlier, when people were saying, well, yeah, Kamala ain't doing this and she didn't do that as far as money and grocery bills are high and Trump's going to be able to take care of us and lower grocery bills and everything. It's more than just that. It's more than just that. Be prepared and be ready because I'm telling you what's going down. But again, God's got us. We will be good. We will push through. We will endure like we always do.
Female, and they are assigned at birth. The bill will also make clear that Title IX prohibits men from participating in women's sports, and we will protect the rights of parents from being forced to allow their minor child to assume a gender which is new and an identity without the parents' consent. The identity will not be new, and it will not be without parental consent. No serious country should be telling its children that they were born with the wrong gender, a concept that was never heard of in all of human history. Nobody's ever heard of this, what's happening today. It was all when the radical left invented it.
That's enough. That's this war on LGBT. So, count that as one of the things that they're going to try and do.
Well, he's going to try to come for he's going to now try to come for religion, and he's going to come for education too. And that's been the most contentious debate right now in politics with what's going on. It's with what's going on. It's just really unfortunate. It's really sad, but we've seen a push for religion in public spaces under Trump, even in public education. So it's going to really affect kids, schools.
Here are 10 key ideas that will power our movement for great schools. First, we will respect the right of parents to control the education of their children. Second, we will empower parents and local school board to hire and reward great principals and teachers, and also to fire the poor ones, the one whose performance is unsatisfactory. They will be fired. Like on The Apprentice, you're fired. Third, we will ensure our classrooms are focused not on political indoctrination, but on teaching the knowledge and skills needed to succeed. Reading, writing, math, science, arithmetic, and other truly useful subjects. Fourth, we will teach students to love their country, not to hate their country like they're taught right now. Fifth, we will support bringing back prayer to our schools. Sixth, we will achieve schools that are safe, secure, and drug-free, with immediate expulsion for any student who harms a teacher or another student. Seventh, we will give all parents the right to choose another school for their children if they want. It's called school choice. Eighth, we will ensure students have access to project-based learning experiences inside the classroom to help train them for meaningful work outside the classroom. Ninth, we will strive to give all students access to internships and work experiences that can set them on a path to their first job. They're going to be very, very successful. I want them to be more.
It's even hard to listen to, say it. It's so annoying.
I know.
It's very difficult for me to sit through this show and listen because I have not been connected to news all week, and this is super, super annoying and heartbreaking and frustrating.
That really, well, not we, but because it's we now, because it's a collective country that we allowed this to happen again, and there were pathways to avoid it, but we chose not to pay attention to those pathways because we said in order for them not to cheat, we had to come out in numbers, and we didn't get up to Obama numbers. We were still in Hillary numbers. We didn't get up to Joe Biden's numbers. We were still at 2016's numbers. So I guess we didn't really fuck around and find out in 2016 good enough. So we really gonna fuck around and find out now. Pretty much. May God be with us. And he will be with us, so that's why, I have a sense of peace now.
Me too.
That's godless. Yeah, I think the first couple of days was real depressing, but now it's just all right, well, back to reality. We know that we live in America where they have never prioritized Black people, and they always want to take us back and put us into something else. But we know that that we descend from kings and queens. We know that we're royalty, so we never act out what they expect us to or whatever. So I'll just keep doing what I've been doing. You'll just keep doing what you've been doing, and we're gonna make it do what it do.
Yes, sir.
They ain't gonna stop us. They ain't gonna stop black people. Like
It's not. But even
obstacle in our way or whatever, but we will learn how to jump over that obstacle. Like we might not get it the first travel. We gonna figure that shit out, and we gonna start to navigate and maneuver and stuff like that. And I think that's another thing too. We gonna be moving differently, just overall or whatever. I think we gonna put more concentration and focus into our own people and what we do, and less focus on expecting anything, because we expected everyone to come out and support our girl to beat this monster, but no, not everybody did that, especially white people.
And go ahead.
No, so I'm saying like we'll just be at a point to where all of us is just moving on and just focusing on what's internal and kind of making sure that we have what we need, our community. So I know that's going to be my focus.
And maybe, and you know what, said that's real. I'm glad that you said that, because there's always a silver lining, and I have to stay up. I've always been an optimistic, positive person. So maybe something great will come from this. Maybe it will bring us together as African Americans, that we say, okay, look, we all we got, and we need to come together and really stay solid as a race. So maybe that's what this is, because
the cavalry that we're looking for to come is not the cavalry, it's the Ku Klux Klan on that white horse.
Yeah,
they are not coming to save us. They are coming to hang us. So
so that's what I'm hoping. That's what I know something positive will come from this. And again, we're two very spiritual brothers, and I know that we both know that God's got us. So we'll be good. We'll be fine regardless. But
we just got to move different. But hopefully it's just not too much damage done in this time. Regardless, like we're gonna do what we have to do.
Especially, you're absolutely right. But especially, there's a lot of people that are concerned, especially immigrants. That's been one of the most decisive issues that's been going on throughout this administration and during the election. Border control, everybody's talking about it. Trump, he's already made it clear how he plans to handle everything. Here's a video, and let's talk about it after we watch this video. Are we gonna play more Trump, or is that it, or what?
I'm so tired of hearing.
I am too. And we don't have to. You know what? Y'all can Google it.
Sorry.
You can watch the video. We're fed up though. But
is it gonna be him?
Decisive in swing states, with 4 in 10 people saying those in the U.S. illegally should be deported to the country they came from. With those voters delivering a convincing victory to Donald Trump, the future president is planning an expansion on the already tough immigration policies of his first term. So far, that includes calling for an end to birthright citizenship, reinstituting.
Why do they think this man gonna change?
Deportation, a dramatic swing from the current administration.
It wasn't a primary policy for Biden to deport people before. They always deport, but that's going to be way different now.
Lee Marvin handles family-based immigration in Grand Rapids, helping clients with visas and citizenship. He says his clients have expressed concern between Trump's election and a federal judge striking down the parole-in-place policy Thursday, allowing undocumented spouses and stepchildren of U.S. citizens to apply for a green card without leaving the country. As far as whether a mass deportation could legally happen, Marvin says the only hurdle the administration would face would be in finding enough resources, especially with staffing struggles at Customs and Border Protection.
And it comes down to budget and manpower and all that kind of stuff. So really, there's no legal obstacles. It's just whether the government can make it happen or not.
But even with the fear Marvin sees, he says attitudes about migration are starting to change. The CBP says nearly 11 million border encounters have occurred over the last 4 years, up from 3 million from 2016 to 2020. It's led to a massive backlog of immigrant court cases and much more attention on what's happening at our southern border.
It's different than it was the last time, okay? The last Trump administration was way different. I mean, people freaking out. Right now, it's a little bit more measured. I'm not getting as much fear.
Governors like Massachusetts' Maura Healey have already come out against Trump's plans, saying they won't help with a mass deportation. But Marvin says states won't have much of a say in the federally run Homeland Security program. In the meantime, he's telling his worried clients that planning is everything.
And the problems that came from that, people understand differently about immigration, not just, regular Americans, but immigrants now understand that it's a little bit more complicated than they ever realized.
In Kalamazoo.
They're about to find out.
They're about to find out. Well, let's switch gears. Let's talk about Kamala. Kamala, she did not win the election, unfortunately, but she has made history as the first Black and South Asian woman to be elected vice president. But there's been talk said that Joe Biden, he could actually step down as president and she could step in to still become the president, which would really be brilliant. It would be a brilliant move. And I feel like if she was on the other foot, the Republican Party would have done the same thing. Because that's just how they move like that. So why not do it? I think it's a great idea. I think it's brilliant. And maybe she could put some stuff in motion because what is it, like less than 70 days before he is inaugurated? So maybe she could step in and just change some things, put some things just in order. I don't know. Like, what's your take? Because you're the political dude.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I think
it's nice. Yeah, I think it's nice to think about, but I doubt there will ever be anything like that. Just because Joe Biden first is a traditionalist or whatever, and then that's another thing of us as we move forward. And thank you for the eye roll because that's exactly what we need to do as a community or whatever. Is like these white people ain't gonna do nothing to protect us or help us out. When things like that would be the right thing to do.
It's the right thing to do.
But they're not going to do the right thing. So we just need to go ahead and just fix it in our mind that like when they're presented with the right thing to do, they're not going to do the right thing. So
because he barely wanted to let her like run. He barely wanted to.
And a lot of people say that's another thing too, because she didn't even have 4 months of a campaign to really even go there, whatever. Like literally, like within 2 months of the campaign, people were already getting their early ballot votes or whatever. So was it really fair to her to give her such a short window to actually run for president and kind of make more visits and stops to rural cities or whatever leading up to that instead of trying to cram everything into 4 months? Maybe that could have helped if she could have got out more over a year's time instead of just over 4 months time or whatever. So that's another thing, but neither here nor there or whatever. I don't think that'll happen or whatever, but it's kind of done for her, which sucks so bad. But like, after Hillary lost, there was nothing else for her to do because nothing, where does Kamala go politically? Like she can't run for president again. In theory, she could, but they're not going to allow her to get the Democratic nomination because she had it and she lost or whatever. And Trump got a second chance after he lost, but he also is a white man. They're not going to give a woman a second chance in this particular sort of space. So and that was another reason why I was like, we got to make the most of this or whatever, which I share your disappointment in just any Black person. Yeah, you cannot vote for it, but why you gotta be so loud and so vocal? And all right, we see you a Black Republican, we see you not with Kamala, but why you gotta be so loud with it or whatever?
Right. When it's
a racist on the other side, like why
there's a racist on the other side, and even like I hear people that will be like, well, she didn't do this and she didn't do that, but you're not talking about Trump. So if we're comparing the two, if you compare the two, it wasn't logical choices. Like if you're saying, okay, like you're just going in on Kamala this, Kamala that, and first of all, y'all can't even say her name right. That's what really pisses me off.
Right?
It's Kamala Harris. It's not. Say her name right. You know what I'm saying? Be respectful. But like here in Atlanta, and I love my city. I'm from Atlanta. I love my city. But there was a mural of Kamala. They painted over the mural already. And I'm like, why would you do that when she's the vice president of the United States? That was groundbreaking. But y'all are being so ignorant to the point where you will paint over the mural? Come on. It doesn't make any. It's mind blowing. And again, that's where we are as a country. And I don't want to even get. I'm gonna get emotional. It's crazy. I'm gonna get emotional over this. I'm not. That really pissed me off, Sid. That really pissed me off.
And like that's my thing, and I love my pastor at church or whatever. But one of the things that he was talking about is like, like some of the same stuff that I had been saying immediately after the election or whatever. We just got to focus on us and focus on our community, and we just got to be just inwardly thoughtful about what we need and that sort of thing, because no one is going to come over here and do anything for us or whatever. So we just have to have that sort of mindset, just moving on and just kind of take care of us, because they've been given plenty of opportunity to show that they can advocate for us on our behalf and that sort of thing, and they have never done that to a consistent basis or whatever. So it's like I don't know.
Yeah, well, I know that we're just about out of time, but I think the thing that I really want people to glean from is that we always, as a people, we have to unite and we have to push through. God's got us. We will endure and we will overcome all this BS that's happening right now. And we're going to sit back and we're going to watch and we're going to see what Trump and his committee, what his people do, what his administration do. But I'm telling you, it's going to be lots of mess going on. It's going to be difficult.
It's not going to be fun.
It's
sometimes,
fun, but we will get through it. We will definitely get through it. But I just pray for us, especially us being African American men, knowing what he has in store, especially with the police officers having free reign to do whatever they want now. I mean, like, and I'm gonna tell you, like, so don't be surprised if you see him pardon Derek Chauvin.
Oh, right.
That can happen.
It can happen.
That can happen. Y'all voted for him.
Yeah. Same man. Like, that's why I'm like, y'all got real short memories to where we couldn't remember some of what happened just literally like 3 years ago in some cases. So it wasn't that long. But neither here nor there, because we're gonna put a happy face on it and we're gonna keep moving, because that's what we do as a people. So we ain't gonna let it depress us down. We're gonna keep going how we move and just navigating newly how we need to. But the thing I want to impress upon people is to never, even if we ain't gonna get in the same way we was or whatever, make sure you never stop paying attention, because that's what they want you to do. They want you to stop paying attention, stop engaging. They were really, really happy. I wish we could get our vote count up, because we are making the racists really, really happy. That's something racists and white people are gonna do. They're gonna vote, and they're really, really happy when we choose not to. And for the longest, we could not vote, and some of our ancestors spilled their blood so that we could vote. So clearly there is some importance to voting, but somehow we got to relearn or teach for the first time our people how power is obtained.
Yeah.
Because we feel like we either feel like we got the power we need, or we feel like we don't want to do the methods that the people in the 1900s and the 60s did to gain some of the stuff that we have now. But maybe once those rights are being threatened, like they did with women, and now they do with LGBTQ, like, it's only so long. Like, that's why, like King said, justice against one is justice against us all, because the people who like to perpetrate injustice, usually white people, but people who like to perpetrate justice, they ain't gonna just stop at one category of people. If you're not white men like them, they really don't like you or whatever. So at some point, that discrimination is gonna knock at your door. So that's my thing, is that, like, we always need to make sure that we're understanding what's happening in other communities, and when you can help and fight for them. And I think black people, as a people, we've always been sensitive to kind of other plights and things like that, which is, I think, why a lot of people expected people to come together to defeat this or whatever. But
yeah, and you said something about teaching, but I mean, the way things are going, there won't be anything about the civil rights movement taught in schools anymore. about slavery or anything like that. So again, this is a part of the plan, so it can set
It's
us
a part
back.
of the 50-year plan that they put in place in the 70s.
Yeah.
It's called the Southern Strategy. So it's all a part of that. And part of that does teach, I think there's a proverb that says, he that controls the schools or education controls their minds, because you're teaching how these young people are learning and growing up and things like that, which is how, like, I think when we was growing up, I used to think racism and some of the kind of discriminatory thoughts and prejudices would die off, because I was in school with mostly white people and we had a jolly good time in elementary school or whatever. So I always figured that the problems with race were beyond here. So once we grew up and we got to be the adults, then we would be like we normally are. We would be like happy go lucky or whatever. But just learning that, like, that's part of what was being taught to people. So yeah, we're cool at home or whatever, but they're being indoctrinated at their homes with whatever. And I think that's what they want to be able to do with this education system, is kind of really start to really drill down and indoctrinate people how they want them to learn. They don't want people to learn about the triumphs of the people in the civil rights movement, the people, how they fought against injustice and knocked down prejudice and fought against Jim Crow and do things like that. Like they don't want people to do that, because if people know that to be the history, then they know how to fight back, because someone before
to go out and vote. You see what I'm saying? Like,
exactly. So it all ties back in. So we got to be smarter just about everything, and just smarter about how this election is just one little piece of what they're all trying to do in controlling our lives. And the more we do to kind of play into what they want us to do, the more power we lose along the way. And we see that it may be incremental here or there or whatever, but it's a part of their 50-year plan. So they don't care if they only get this book banned here or whatever. Like, do you know they're banning Maya Angelou books and Amanda Gorman, who spoke at the inauguration for Obama? They're banning her book. What? A book of poems? You're banning this baby's book, like, who was the youngest poet. So like, I'm like, this is just like, it's just microcuts. It's little microcuts. So it's not big things like, oh yeah, we're gonna wipe away this whole agency, or we're gonna take away this funding or whatever. No, it's just little things like this. We're banning books here. We're going to eliminate this social studies program here. So we're not fully teaching how government works and is funded or whatever. We're also going to cut this over here, whatever. So like, it's little things here, there, whatever, but it adds up over time because it helps out with their plan. So we just need to be smarter and realize that's what they're doing. This is an attempt to erase anything that's not that is non-white from having anything of importance in this country. So we have to fight back as hard as we can. That's one of the reasons that gives me some happiness about where I work for my full-time job at the museum, because we're going to be in a space to where we may be one of the few institutions that can freely teach history about African-American people from an African-American voice without any sort of limitations, because we don't know how the school systems are going to go. They may give us February and Martin Luther King and Rosa Parks, and that's it. We ain't gonna learn nothing about Marcus Garvey or how he wanted that revolution, or nothing about Malcolm X, or nothing about Sojourner Truth, or people who were freedom fighters, or abolitionists like Frederick Douglass, like all those people who fought against slavery or whatever. We ain't gonna learn none of that. You're gonna have to go to a museum to find out it, and that's a sad existence. Like, we actually been talking about that too. Like, what does this mean for institutions like us? Because we may be one of the few that don't have limitations. Because if you're a school district and you depend on federal or state funds, and they tell you, yes, you have to do this, then you're going to comply because you got to pay the light bill.
Yeah.
But let's not be labor. I don't want to have a sad episode, because, like, yes, it's gonna be bad, but yeah, we're gonna get through it.
And we're going to stay positive, and God's got us no matter what. So with that being said, we'll be back real soon. Thank you all for checking us out. Don't forget, we are available on all podcast platforms. We're live on YouTube, Instagram, and you can follow us on social media at Everybody Mad Live Podcast. I'm Kenya Kabeen. You can follow me too at Kenya Kabeen on all social media platforms.
Yep, I'm Sad Lover everywhere except Twitter, because I canceled them because I don't want to give Elon any more of my stuff. What am I going to do with my Tesla stock? Because it's actually doing real well now.
And to all those people out there that have Tesla, one of my friends, he has a Tesla. He's like, man, I'm turning my Tesla in. I'm selling my Tesla.
Yeah. I might have to sell my stock.
You should. You absolutely should,
sell my
brother.
stock.
But we'll be back
But
real soon.
He's gonna make his stock go up, though.
Yeah, I know.
You know he gonna make his stock go up.
Yeah.
But okay. Yeah, we'll see you next time. I'm saying lover everywhere. Except Elon's place. No. One more thing. There's a new social media platform. People are leaving Twitter. And also TikTok and some of those forums because we're realizing that like we need to prioritize our voices. We need to have our own space. So there's a new social media app that people can use. Download Fanbase, Fanbase. Fanbase. That is where a lot of former Twitter users are moving over towards. I just set up my account. You can actually transition over your IG and your TikTok. It'll just get your content and bring it over to you, so you don't even have to repost nothing or download it. So Fanbase is that next platform because we're trying to get rid of get away from these billionaires like Elon Musk and Zuckerberg who purposely made their social media platforms a arm of the Trump campaign. So y'all ain't gonna get no more of my money or attention.
Right. That part.
All right. We'll see you next time.
Next time.
I forgot how to end it. Oh,